It's False Start, a college football podcast for everyone and everyone else. I'm your host, John Buhler, lead writer for Fansided. I'm joined today by a man who I've just now started to describe as the Lionel Messi of Mills River, North Carolina. Not the captain, just the goal scorer. All vibes, all the time. Cody Williams, content director, fansided.com. How are you?
Yeah, if Lionel Messi was really bad and the not like the weak link of the team, that would definitely be me. But I'm doing good, man. It's a good Thursday. We got a good week of college football coming up, and how you doing? How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm kind of playing through my mind like our high school athletic prowess. You were the guy, like you were an attack mid in lacrosse
Oh yeah.
striker, probably like a two or a three on the basketball
Oh, I
team.
was a point guard, brother.
Yeah,
Yeah, too small to do anything else.
it doesn't strike me as much of a runner, more of a passer distributor.
I was a shooter.
Yeah.
I was a shoot first point guard, baby. I was ahead of my time.
I was in baseball, I was S.E. Freeman. That's basically how I would describe myself, just not as good as Freddie Freeman, but right-handed.
Yeah.
Running with the velocity of Jamie Moyer on the lacrosse pitch, lacrosse field, just running, getting decked, and then on swim team, breaststroke, and the floating turn lane. That's what I
Hell
did.
yeah. That's what we love.
But I could catch everything at first base. And make sure while you're catching the show, be sure to give us a 5-star review, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. Check out some of the cool playlists I made on YouTube. It's really cool. You can watch one video and immediately goes to the next. And
We love that.
yeah, we got a bunch of cool ones. If you've got an idea for a playlist you want to see, like just our dumbest shows possible, we'll put that on there too, because we've got about 2 years worth of stuff.
In 200 and whatever episodes, what is this? 228, I think it is.
Yeah.
We've got some that are out there. Still very fondly remembering our season preview where we did the Not a College Football podcast.
All hail the big dumper and everything.
That's right.
He didn't win MVP, but he got an episode kind of sort of named after him. I don't know if any of that stuff we said is even going to matter. We'll probably revisit it later.
100%.
But yeah, coming to you semi-live here on a Thursday morning. It's Wet Hair Day, which means, I got stuff to do. It's the Arizona State Podcast birthday weekend. Gonna have a good time there out at Papa Bueller's. Last time I was out here, I got engaged, so that was really cool.
Love that. Good
Yeah,
vibes all around. Happy birthday to the Arizona State podcast. It's a good weekend.
yes, yeah. She's turning 22.
Hey, you know what? We all got to turn 22 sometime.
I have 22 for the X number of years, but that's okay. It's
That's
fine.
right.
And obviously, we fall started here today on our Thursday episode. We're gonna get our first to 15 today. Is gonna be he gone, he coming. Change the show up a little bit because it's getting a little toasty, getting a little hot here in the coaching carousel. It's starting to really turn. We have our first head coaching hire of the cycle. Former Penn State head coach James Franklin takes over at Virginia Tech. We kind of saw this coming together very quickly. I don't know about you. I think this is it's hard to see this not working out.
Yeah, I mean it's a home run if you're if you're a Hokies fan. I mean you have to be excited. I actually weirdly had dinner with a Penn State fan last night and he was talking about it and he was like, "Man, even I have to admit like that's like the perfect type of program for James Franklin." And like with the Virginia Tech has recruiting advantages. It's not like the most advantageous spot in the country, but it does have quite a bit being being near Newport News area, Virginia and that and the Tidewater region like that that will I think James Franklin will take full advantage of that, especially considering like in-state battle you have Virginia, but like outside of that, you're the top dog, and like in that region, you're still the top dog. That's still closer to home. And we saw what he did at Vanderbilt, man. And like this is a better version of Vanderbilt.
He also has very strong ties to the region from his time as the OC head coach and waiting for Ralph Region at Maryland a long time
Hmm.
ago. Um, the Tidewater region had kind of been a honey hole for Penn State to be able to get talent out of that region and everything like that. That's part of the reason why his predecessor and his former defensive coordinator Brent Pry got the gig because he was the primary recruiter there. He just didn't really affect it on the sidelines. I don't know. What if he can't be James Franklin's defensive coordinator at Virginia Tech? That'd be
It
hilarious.
would be, I mean, objectively, it would be the funniest outcome possible, but there's no way anyone in Blacksburg would allow that to happen.
No, you're gonna go 2-8 like the Arkansas Razorbacks with Bobby Petrino coming back, man.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I do think the other thing with like, when you think about James Franklin is like, yes, obviously, we had the driver jokes 10 and 2 every most years at Penn State. But at the same time, like when you think about the talent that he was able to recruit, not necessarily from the Pennsylvania area to Penn State, when you're talking about the Tidewater region, when you're talking about his talent acquisition, like those Penn State teams would have run away with the ACC in a lot of years. And like it is a step down in competition. There's no doubt about that.
But you have an opportunity to bring Virginia Tech to what it should and
Hmm.
probably always has been in Big East ACC play. You're now going to become, this could be what Brent Key is at Georgia Tech, where like
Hmm.
you're top like 5 or 6 in the conference pretty much every year, which I think the Hokies have played very hard for Philip Montgomery and Scott Seif, or Sam Seif Keys on defense and everything like that. Maybe you try to retain both of them in some capacity, but
Hmm.
like the 0-3 hole that the Hokies got into is just too much to overcome. But that's a fantastic hire there for them.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the first of the cycle, but I would almost guarantee it's going to be one of the best of the cycle, especially in terms of fit. Like I think it's a really good marriage of program and coach.
Before we move on to some bigger names, I think we got to talk a little bit about what Terry Smith is doing as the interim there in Happy Valley. Article came out on Penn State on SI. A lot of players are really hoping that he gets it because, I mean, I don't know, they beat a hellacious ass team in the Michigan State Spartans.
Yeah.
And I understand that Terry Smith's kind of like the guy here, but like the Pagula family is not gonna move on from like James Franco without they're gonna go big game hunting. It seems as though Eli Drinkwitz of Mizzou is probably the top target. I've also heard Brent Key of Georgia Tech. Kalen DeBoer, if you don't win the Iron Bowl, maybe you can go there.
Yeah, right. No, I mean like it's I respect the players' wishes. Like if you've heard me talk on this podcast, I'm most of the time a player first guy. Like that's kind of my mentality when I look at this sport. And I I respect the players' wishes, but we've seen this 100 times in college football, and the universities don't give a damn about that, man. They
No,
really, really don't. Like,
no.
I think we were shocked when Blake Harrell got hired at East Carolina because like it just doesn't like that is like that's the exception to the rule. That is not the rule of how this normally works. When players like really, band together to try to get someone hired who was in an interim capacity.
It's almost like a Pareto principle here, where it's the 80-20 rule. Like 20% of the time, it'll work out. And we always sit there and think like, oh my God, the Ed Orgeron era at LSU, Dabo Swinney at Clemson, Blake Harrell at East Carolina, Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. I said Dabo Swinney, David Shaw, a
Hmm.
little bit at Stanford, but like there is a shelf life to this.
Hmm.
There's kind of when you promote a guy, Gundy and Dabo are probably like the main exceptions to this because they had such a long and tremendous track record here. But
Right.
like a lot of times when you're promoting a guy who's not like the play caller, you become so coordinator dependent,
Hmm.
or you can have those seasons where it just devours you like Sam Pittman in Arkansas.
No, 100%. And like the other thing that you got to consider is like with James Franklin getting hired, like Penn State saves a hell of a lot of money. If I'm not mistaken, they only have to pay $9 million of the buyout now, which like that frees up a lot of money to go game hunting, to go get an Eli Drinkwitz. And no disrespect to Terry Smith, but I would rather like if I'm a Penn State fan, I would much rather have Eli Drinkwitz running the program.
You could still pay Eli what 8.5 and be
Yeah,
on
you're
the
fine.
black and be in the black. Like so you're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, like $9 million for a program the size of Penn State is chump change. Like that doesn't mean anything.
No.
As my personal hero Bud Elliott likes to say, that's a line item. Like it's not anything you're gonna miss.
It's petty cash, man.
Yeah. Running money, if you will.
Let, but let's not obsess with petty cash like the late great, not so great Bud Adams did down there in Houston and Nashville.
Right.
We got a couple of other names here to kind of keep an eye on. We've got, Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, Jon Sumrall at Tulane, Alex Golish at South Florida, Steve Sarkisian at Texas, and I guess Bob Chesney there at James Madison. All of these guys are largely coaching teams that are in and around the playoff sphere. Not all of them are going to make it, but like their teams are still very much in it percentage wise. Like this isn't like Drinkwitz where like Mizzou's not going to make it.
Right. 100%. And like obviously Kiffin's the one that's getting the most oxygen spent on him because his team is as close to a lock as any of the like it is closer to a lock than any of these other teams that we're talking
Right.
about. And I mean, it's been messy. Not that anyone should have expected anything different when you're talking about A, Lane Kiffin, when you're talking about B, LSU, and you're talking about C, Florida. Like, Of course, it's going to get messy when those three components are involved. That is the most combustible possible situation that you could possibly have. And then you throw in Ole Miss on top of it with did they or did they not give them an ultimatum to decide by the Egg Bowl? Like, this is all very, very messy with Lane Kiffin. But like I said it before, and I was like, I think he's leaving. I think he's buying his time to leave for one of these programs. I don't know which one it's going to be. And like, I'm feeling less confident in feeling what it should. Like if I were going, if I were Lane Kiffin and I were going to leave Ole Miss, it would be for LSU. It certainly would not be for Florida because I know like LSU just has a yes, it's super discombobulated there with like the state government getting involved and everything right now, but at the same time, if you're just looking at the football job, LSU is a far superior football job than Florida, and LSU is a superior football job to Ole Miss, even where Ole Miss is right now, because LSU is the type of program where yeah, they're going bowling this year, but like, expectations are obviously a lot higher. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest if Lane Kiffin went to LSU and really like, things took quickly. They were in the playoff next year. Like that's not out of the realm of possibility because of the talent acquisition ability of that program.
Yeah, if Lane were to take the job at LSU with Michael Van Buren Jr. as his quarterback, that team's gonna go like 10-2 and make the playoff.
He'd probably bring Trinidad Chambliss with him though, is the thing.
Hell yeah. But even like for Ole Miss being all locked in, with Keith Carter, like they've got stability. The fact you've got what a new AD and Verge Osbury, who's got some skeletons in his closet.
Yeah.
Wade Rousey, I think the French, French more than me, the new president, and then obviously Governor Landry's getting involved.
Can you just imagine me in French class though? Like I can't pronounce anything. I can't pronounce English half the time. And you're asking me to do another language? It was bad. Bad times.
No, I imagine you putting accents everywhere. You just like you just treat them like commas. They go where they go. I'm an ADD kid. It's fine.
I got detention one time in French class because our professor or teacher or whatever asked me to pronounce a word and I didn't know how to pronounce it at all. And so I just did my French laugh, which is
God, that's amazing. They don't do Spanish laughs. They just smile.
Mhm.
I tell you.
100%.
Um, I still think Kiffin stays for
Yeah.
whatever reason, just because I think it's very clear that Jimmy Sexton is like pitting all the people against themselves. And because I'm out at the lake and I can look probably about 100 feet that way, reminds me of a childhood memory I had with me and my sister. So we were putting like drainage pipes in the yard. Probably not supposed to do that because it's a wetland, but it was a soupy mess.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of gravel and everything like that. And my sister's playing on it. It's like, Dad, there's a bunch of ants up here. And she's getting bit. My dad goes over there, pours gasoline on it, and lights it on fire. That's Jimmy Sexton right now. That's what he did as a kid, just burning ants. He's just the guy is gonna get Lane Kiffin like Georgia money. Like he's gonna make as
Mhm.
much as Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, Kurt Signetti at the top of the market.
Mhm.
The question becomes, is Ole Miss going to pay that? And I think you're probably a little more dubious of that. Whereas LSU is like, we're gonna give you the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, I mean, like the Louisiana Purchase Part Two, like that's what I'm seeing here. Like, how much of the state would you like? Because we'll give you a blank grant of deeds. Like that's what they're handing them. It's not a blank check; it's a blank grant of deeds.
We will give you the metropolis of Shreveport in front of Tim Brando, and he's gonna just like die in real time in front of you.
That's right.
Cannot
Uh,
cannot believe it. But I don't know, it's Lane Kiffin's the big thing in all this. The timing of it all is not great. We mentioned Steve Sarkisian. They've said that there's some sort of thing where like the boosters are tired of him going like 9-3, not winning it all with the money. I know there's some belief that he might go to the NFL. Maybe he comes to Atlanta again and ruins my Saturday, Sundays some more.
yeah, I don't. I'm very dubious of that. I'm more dubious of that than I am of Ole Miss giving Lane Kiffin the money. You already spoke of Jimmy Sexton. This is straight out of the Jimmy Sexton playbook.
Yeah.
And I know that because we just saw it last year. Like we literally saw this happen last year. And like I I I wouldn't be surprised if Texas boosters were, pushing Sark for a little more. But at the same time, he's developed almost a 9-3 floor for this
Yeah.
program. And like there's no denying the fact like this was a year where things did not go to plan, and you're still probably going to finish at worst 8-4, maybe 9-3 if you beat Texas A&M. And if you beat Texas A&M and you're 9-3, like you're probably going to be on the bubble of the playoff, probably on the wrong side of it, but still on the bubble of making the playoff. And like when I look at the machinations that way, like I think Texas would be foolish to move on from Steve Sarkisian, and I think Steve Sarkisian has no intentions of moving on.
No, he's at a job that you don't leave for. You don't. I don't even. You don't go to the Cowboys from
And
Texas.
like the
No,
Cowboys job's not going to be open. Like that's
no,
the
no.
thing. Like I was going to say, like there are maybe like two jobs in the NFL where you would consider leaving Texas for it. And like I don't think that, no offense to your Falcons, I don't think
No.
the Falcons are one of them.
No, no, you're talking like the Packers,
Yeah,
effectively.
100%. Like you're talking about like Packers, Steelers, Cowboys. Like that's the conversation that we're talking about.
Yeah, and I don't think like the Falcons or Bengals do that for you. No,
No,
or Titans.
God,
No.
no.
Basically, what they need to do for Sark, and we'll probably talk about this, move on to Chesney, and then talk about Golish and Summerall kind of to finish this up here.
Mhm,
I think you use leverage here. I think you kick AJ Milwee to the curb, and I think you
mhm.
actually go get you a coordinator who's worth a damn. I think you pay 3 million to either Mike Locksley or Brian Daboll.
I mean, Brian Daboll was the first name that came to my mind because he might not know how to coach an NFL team, and the Giants may have held on him for a really long time, but the man knows how to call an offense. Like, and
Hmm.
there's a long track record both in college and the NFL of that being the case.
You just got to get a little bit more dynamic in the running game. We know that like Locksley and Daboll can provide that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I would be excited with Dayball too because obviously the Arch Manning component of this,
Hmm.
like. You think about Arch's mobility, that could be really dangerous with Dayball, like, using Arch in the run game as well. You talk about his quarterback development, like obviously it didn't take with Daniel Jones necessarily, but I I'm developing like a half-brained theory that like he actually did a good job of developing Daniel Jones. He just did a really crappy job with the rest of the Giants roster, so it didn't matter. And like, because I mean, like, you can't tell me that Daniel Jones just shows up in Indianapolis and can play like this without having been developed. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make any sense. I believe in Shane Steichen, but like this is a different like everyone, this is a different quarterback. Oh, and he needed to change his scenery. Yeah, he needed to get out of the Giants roster because the Giants roster is freaking terrible.
Guy was like a two-star recruit out of Charlotte Latin.
Yeah,
Like, when do they have players like that's like the Atlanta equivalent of like the Lovett School or Westminster. Like, you're not,
100%.
and you're playing it. You're playing Power Four football at Duke. You get drafted by a blue blood. I think Dale Jones is getting every bit out of his talent. I think he's still got room to grow. And I think Shane Steichen and everything. You know what? He's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. The Colts are probably going to get to the AFC Championship game. They might win the AFC. They might win the effing Super Bowl.
100%, man. It's the Colts are, I mean, and like Daniel Jones is going to get a lot of credit for that. Jonathan Taylor's on one right
Yeah.
now.
Saw that firsthand. Tyler Warren, that we said that was a fantastic pick by Chris Ballard.
And it was
I'm eating a lot of crow, but like that was a decade of crap to get to this point. So
100%. Yeah. I mean, Anthony Richardson was a bit of a misfire.
certainly. So I'm gonna go with Bob Chesney here. So
Yeah.
I'm out at my dad's, and my dad's watching Wake Up with Barstool on FS1. Obviously, I probably mentioned this to you guys in the starters. My cousin's married to the head of video on that program there.
Oh, nice.
So behind one of the couches on there is my cousin's wedding picture. It's sports. It's like their wedding picture from like 2011.
That's incredible. I love little Easter eggs like that. That's awesome.
But like, so you got T-Bob Abear up there, Mark Titus, PFT commenter who's a JMU guy, and then
Yeah.
the guy who doesn't talk, who's we can I don't know what his name is, but yeah, PFT was talking about Chesney, and they're like saying like, "Are you gonna lose him?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of expecting it. The guy's been here great for 2 years." PFT's like, "Yeah, he's probably going to go to UCLA, which I think would be good. Obviously, with Virginia Tech closing, it's recruiting and getting James Franklin. That opportunity is no longer there. I don't think Chesney is long for Harrisonburg beyond the playoff."
No, 100%. And I think UCLA would be a great fit. I understand Mike Locksley got a vote of confidence. If that job were to open up, if I was Maryland, I would throw a very large bag at Bob Chesney.
Yeah, give him like 7 and just do it.
100%. Like, I mean, what do you have to lose at this point?
Nah, maybe Stanford hires him. I think that'd be cool. That'd
That'd
be a
be
good one
sick.
too.
That'd be really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Because I think everybody is like Tavita Pritchard, but like it's gotten really bad there in the nation's capital with Dan Quinn. This thing's gotten the cliches aren't landing, brother.
They are not, and that defense is older than us, man, and that's saying something. I woke
I
up this
mean,
morning, my ankle was hurting. I don't know why.
I know. I'm like, my knee made a noise this morning getting out of bed. They're like, that ain't good.
I went to walk down the stairs and I took one step with my left foot and I was like, "Oh my God, why is this like in like shooting pain up my leg right now?" Of course, the NC State podcast said, "Do you want to go get it checked out?" And I said, "Absolutely not. No. Why would I do that?"
No, they're just gonna put me down like a horse, man.
That's right.
So we are of the belief that like Sark's gonna stay. Lane, it could go either way. Chesney, he gone eventually.
Hmm.
The big wild thing that happened yesterday afternoon is what's going on there in and around the Florida program. So Alex Galesh was going to have his radio hit on Tampa. He's like, well, he's not going to do that. And this is a guy that I've said like that's the Florida hire.
Hmm.
He's also got strong ties to Arkansas because his wife is from there. So those are
Hmm.
two opportunities. We are of the belief that Galesh is like going to be taking a Power Four gig here as soon as USF is out of the playoff picture, which is
Or go
probably
he could go to Moscow University too, as a USSR guy.
yeah, back in the USS. You know how lucky you are to have Alex Galesh.
That's right. No, but no, I
Cycle
mean
to cycle.
like Alex Galesh, like I think that with USF essentially out of the playoff race, like it's going to be a very big uphill climb that they don't have control of. More importantly, to get to even the American Championship, which is obviously your path to the college football playoff in the G5. And I don't. I think now that that's over, we're going to see Galesh's, coaching search, like wherever he wants to go, whether that's Arkansas, whether that's Florida, we're going to see it start to move a lot quicker.
And then the Jon Sumrall of it all. That's the weird one. There's conflicting reports out of On3 where like, oh, he's gonna interview at Florida. And then Pete Nakos is like, he is not gonna interview at Florida.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I will say the one thing that surprised me, I saw a lot of Florida fans like upset by this. And I don't know if that's Billy Napier or PTSD or what, but like I don't understand why you would be upset about interviewing Jon Sumrall because that would be a good hire. Absolutely at Florida.
I mean, I'm probably gonna be wrong about this because this is how it is. I think he's gonna get one of three SEC jobs. He's either gonna get Florida, Auburn, or LSU.
Yeah, and I would put my money on Auburn.
Yeah.
I think with his Troy ties, I think that just
Mhm.
makes the most sense.
And also with the fact Drink kind of leaning towards Penn State, I
Mhm.
think would be good. The LSU, it's if it's not Lane, if it's not Lane, who is it?
I See, I feel weird trying to project LSU coaching searches, especially like talking about if it's not Lane, because like I don't know if you're like whenever Brian Kelly got hired, that was not a name that was talked about at all. And like LSU has the funds to do something that no one sees coming. And so like Cliff Kingsbury is going to be in NFL head coaching conversations. It would not shock me if someone like Cliff Kingsbury came to LSU. It would not shock me if they were trying to talk to Lincoln Riley right now. Like LSU is the biggest wild card in college football when this job opens up because they have essentially like unlimited resources because they don't give a damn about anything but this football team. And so like they are going to swing for the fences and like if it's not Lane, it's going to be someone that we're not talking about. Like that's my gut feeling.
It'll be out there. And if Summerall does leave Tulane, go get Coach O. I'm all for
Oh,
that.
100%. Absolutely. Please
Uh,
don't. Although I'm quite partial to the thought of Coach O at Oregon State, just because it would be hilarious.
go Beefs.
Go Beavers.
All right. We talked about that a lot. Let's move on to our next topic with you better Euro check yourself before you wreck yourself. College football playoff rankings. Doing some Goldilocks here, kind of shifted the program around a little bit. I'll rattle off the top 25. We'll do too hot, too cold, just right. All right. Top five, Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Georgia, Texas Tech. 6 through 10, Ole Miss, Oregon, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Alabama. That's the 10 teams that would be getting in.
Mhm.
That's the cut line. 11 through 15, BYU, Utah, Miami, Vanderbilt, USC. 16 through 20, Georgia Tech, Texas, Michigan, Virginia, Tennessee. And rounding out your top 25, 21 through 25, Illinois, Missouri, Houston, Tulane, and Arizona State. Let's get right to it. Where's the committee too hot on this week, Cody?
I'm still gonna go with Miami, and like that's obviously been a big topic of conversation this week with with the Miami Notre Dame head to head, both of them having the same record. Look, man, at the end of the day, like yes, it is ironic, it is weird to say like Notre Dame's losses are better, even if one of those losses was to Miami, but like it's the truth of the matter. Like
Yeah,
Louisville and SMU are not the same caliber of Texas A&M and M and Miami. They just aren't. And more importantly, I don't think Miami over the past month has looked nearly as impressive consistently as Notre Dame has. Like if we're talking about eye test, if we're adding that into the equation, like I think that they have a better eye test. And then you talk about wins, like Miami's best win is Notre Dame, and then what's their next best win? Because I don't really, is it Florida? Like it's not, there's
yeah,
not
it's
a,
probably FSU, probably.
yeah, I mean like, but that's not a high bar, like at
Yeah.
all. And like Notre Dame has the Michigan win. Notre Dame has the USC win. Like they built a solid resume here. Like Navy's obviously not in the top 25, but they're knocking on the door of it. And like
Pitt as well. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. So like Notre Dame just has put together a better resume, and like the fact that Miami's even in this conversation blows my mind because like I haven't seen the quality from this team. We've seen them just s the bed too many times in like games that they should win, like that they were heavy favorites in, and like I can't do it. I can't do it with Miami.
I kind of had them grouped there with Utah at the end of this one, like my last spot in here. I'm like, yeah, this is dumb that they're ranked this high. They're messing this thing up. Like Miami can't get to Charlotte. This is so dumb.
Yeah.
Like they're not doing this. Utah is the same sort of thing too. It's like they just lose to good teams. And I picked two other teams that I really just want to harpoon, like a New England whale in the 19th century. Texas A&M is way too high.
Yeah, 100%.
Georgia's better than them, and I think Texas Tech is better than them too.
I think there's two SEC teams and a Big 12 team that are probably better than Texas A&M because that was my second one was Texas A&M and M. And
I think
like
I think Ole Miss is better than them too.
yeah, that's who I was referring to, man. And like honestly, I think Alabama's probably better than them. You can't put Alabama ahead of them. I understand that because Alabama has two losses, but I do think Alabama is probably better than Texas A&M.
It's it's like the CFB committee, it's like they're millionaires who get paid to schedule games every so often in the non-conference. Then they fly to a Dallas Fort Worth area airport lounge and they
Yep.
play standings. Like
Yeah.
every other metric, Georgia is just better than them. I think Georgia would beat A&M by 10 points easily.
Yeah, especially after what we saw at South Carolina, and like I'm not putting it all in one game, but like I said on Saturday night, and I believe I said it on Monday show as well, like Texas A&M has played really close games against the bottom of the SEC and has not played anyone in the top of the SEC. And like not only has Georgia is Georgia like I just don't think Texas A&M's battle tested. Like they're
No.
not at all.
No, like the separating factor between A&M and then Ohio State, Indiana above them is like, look, I don't think either of them have really played that great of a schedule. They do have ranked wins. Obviously, Ohio State's got a ranked win over Texas and Illinois. We'll see what happens with Michigan in 2 weeks. And then Indiana, you beat the tar out of Illinois. You've also dominated Oregon, but like they're not losing. They're beating teams by like a considerable margin, even if they suck. Whereas A&M's not really doing that.
No, 100%. And like I feel like when Texas A&M really got a rocket put up its ass in terms of the rankings was the win at LSU, but like LSU fired their coach the next day. Like that's not like why are we propping that up like it's something major that happened? It's not.
We should be doing that with Georgia's win over Ole Miss, and we didn't do that.
100%. Absolutely. It was just it was a cool atmosphere and a cool night game. Marcel Reed balled out and like yeah, that's great. Like I'm not like I don't think Texas A&M is a bad team, but like I just like handing them the label of being one of the elites in college football this season is incorrect.
No, they're good. I don't think that they're great. And the other team I had, Oregon. I think that
Yeah.
team's just kind of seven. I think Oklahoma and Notre Dame, and I think Alabama are all better than you. I'm good with you being in the top 10, but that's uh, the teams just,
Oklahoma and Notre Dame both have a lot better wins than Oregon does to this point.
yeah, they're kind of. I don't know. Like I was like I got really into Oregon. I'm like, oh, they're beating the tar out of people. I'm like, oh, they're playing like teams that are worse than the Northwestern. Like once they
Right.
play somebody who's of caliber, it's not really the same. And we've probably got thoughts about them with the big game of the weekend versus USC here in a little bit. But yeah, Oregon was the other team that I think is too hot.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
You got anybody else that's too hot?
No,
Let's
I went two apiece this time.
All right, too cold. I've obviously mentioned Georgia. I don't really need to expound too much on that here.
No, 100%. I went with Oklahoma just to talk about like what they like, and more to talk like I guess this throws Oregon into the too hot category as well. But like you look at Oklahoma's resume, like okay, removing the Alabama win from the equation, which is dumb because obviously it's a game that they won, but like Oregon doesn't have a better win than Oklahoma beating Tennessee. Like that's like Oklahoma has two or three wins better than what Oregon has. Like Oklahoma, frankly, even with two losses, probably has a better resume than Ole Miss. Like I think you could put Oklahoma in like slide them right behind Texas Tech, and like I wouldn't blink an eye at it. Like I just think that we looked at Oklahoma and like I think baked into the rankings prior to them beating Alabama was, well, they're not going to survive their schedule. There's no way that they survived their schedule. Well, damn it, they did. And like with surviving that schedule, you have a hell of a lot of quality wins. You don't necessarily have a really like catastrophic loss like, going against you. Like I think this Oklahoma resume, just because it has two losses, it's still one of the strongest in the country.
I had them just right. If I had to lean either direction beyond just right, it's probably too cold because they are battle tested. The one of their losses is when John Mateer had a Gene Upshaw club hand out there. Like
Yeah.
this team's not perfect. I think offensively it's kind of frustrating. I think Ben Arbuckle's kind of taken away any opportunity for him being a head coach this upcoming year. Again, he just turned 30. He's got
Yeah,
time.
he's got time. He's got plenty.
But Venables has really been dialing it up defensively. They've become effectively what Clemson was under Dabo, but probably like a slightly lesser version of that.
Yeah.
But that's a playoff caliber team. I go back and forth on it. You're battle tested. You do have the two losses. I think the Texas loss is not looking particularly great. I mean, the Ole Miss loss that was really close.
Yeah.
So like they should be somewhere in that 6 to 9 range. I think they're okay at 8, but if you wanted to argue them for at 6, I'm not against that.
Yeah, 100%. Who you got first for your too cold?
You may not agree with you. I think Alabama at 10 is a little too cold.
No, I actually do agree with you. I don't have them on here, but I don't disagree with that at all.
I just look at some of the teams ahead of them, namely Oregon and Notre Dame, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, if you're going to play them head to head right now, particularly Oregon, like Notre Dame will be very close, and we'll probably touch on that here in just a second. They're battle tested too, just like Oklahoma. The Florida State loss is much worse than the loss to Oklahoma had to Texas. But they lost head to head to Oklahoma by like 2 points. It's like Georgia losing to Alabama. These
Yeah.
things happen when you play a competitive conference schedule. They're not a perfect team. I'm kind of dubious of them being able to win a national title because they can't run the football. But when Ty Simpson's on, he's incredible, and I think Kalen DeBoer is a really good coach. He's got a good staff. They gotta figure that out with the offensive line and running game. They got to get a little bit more, get a little more good old boy in the SEC, for lack of a better word.
No, 100%. And like, yeah, I mean, Oklahoma's resume is, or sorry, Alabama's resume, excuse me, is impressive. Like the Oklahoma loss, obviously not a bad loss. The Florida State loss, yeah, it's bad, but then you start to stack up the wins that Alabama has. You talk about Vanderbilt, you talk about Mizzou, you talk about Georgia, like
Tennessee, you got
Tennessee,
4.
yeah, like you like the resume in the wins, like I feel like they're being penalized for playing a very tough SEC schedule is really what it comes down to. And like I don't think that's correct.
They also play Florida State and Wisconsin in the non-conference,
Yeah.
which I think people don't give credit to. Like that's
I mean, Wisconsin sucks, but like you still scheduled them. When you scheduled them, you didn't know that they were going to be this.
No, I give Alabama credit because they don't have a Power Four rival in the in like another state. Whereas like Georgia and South Carolina don't have to do much thinking about this because like we know we got Georgia Tech and Clemson on the schedule every year anyway.
Mhm.
But they still go out there and schedule somebody. But Alabama kind of did that without having necessarily like the need or this historic need to do it.
No, 100%. It's why I'm never going to disparage like programs like Ohio State and Texas for playing one another in the first week of the season. Like, you know what, man? Like, that's putting yourself up like through the meat grinder and like trying to prove yourself. And sometimes that backfires, but like I respect you for doing it.
They shouldn't punish you too bad for at least trying.
Yeah.
I guess the other team I had for too cold was USC.
Okay, and I'm all on board with that. That's not my sec. I'll get my second one in a second one, but or get my second one in a second. But yeah, I'm right there with you.
USC, I think, should be like 13. I'm okay with them being behind BYU and Vanderbilt,
Mhm.
but like Miami and Utah being ahead of them is kind of lunacy.
No, it absolutely is. I mean, with Illinois cracking the top 25 again, like both your losses were to ranked teams, man. And neither of them were like egregious. Like you lost by 10 to Notre Dame in South Bend and you lost by 2 to Illinois in Champaign. Like neither of those are bad. You have a pretty dominant win over Michigan. Like you've won with margin in games that you're supposed to win. You have the big win over Iowa in a game that was played on Iowa's terms even though it was in LA. Like yeah, this USC team is not getting the credit that it deserves. And like I think that's reflected, again, we'll talk more about it, but like they're almost 10-point underdogs at Oregon. And like I think that's completely wrong.
If you beat Oregon and you beat UCLA and you go what 10-2, 8-1, you need some help, but like there's an outside chance where actually you could get to Indianapolis. I think you could play Indiana. You would need I don't know. Michigan's also got a weird thing too. If Ohio State loses, they may not get there as well.
Yeah.
But like if you win out, your two losses are to teams that are going to go what a combined 19-5 with a 9-3 Illinois team
Right.
and like a 10-2 Notre Dame team.
100%. And I mean, it's like that's also a very I think crucial point when we talk about Notre Dame. Like their two losses are probably going to go a combined like what worse 3 losses, so like 21-3 in the regular
Yeah.
season. Like that's a pretty damn good resume.
Who else do you think the committee's too cold on?
I have two teams that are not in the top 25. James Madison, North Texas. What the hell are we doing, brother? Like they are 21 and 22 in the AP top 25, and for once the AP top 25 is right and the selection committee is wrong. Like Tulane is a very good football team. They should not be above either James Madison or North Texas at this point. Tulane lost by 20 something to UTSA, who yes, I may have picked UTSA to make the American Championship game in the preseason. That was wrong. That was very wrong. This is not a good football team for the Roadrunners. And like they blew the doors off of Tulane. I just don't see it with Tulane when you can put them like when you compare them to North Texas and James Madison, who are both sitting there at 9-1, a better record, similar resumes. Like I just don't understand it.
So JMU's one loss is like a 14-point road loss to Louisville.
Yeah,
Again, that's expected. And then I think what North Texas has lost, like they got their ass kicked by South Florida, but like
right.
that's a conference game that
Yeah,
happens.
I mean the Americans absolute badass, and like if we're talking about American losses again, I Tulane's loss is way worse than that in the American.
100%. I love that you stand up for the little guy. It's great. You fight for the just right. I've obviously mentioned Oklahoma here. I think my two other ones were Texas Tech and BYU. I feel like those
Mm.
make sense.
Texas Tech was my number one with a bullet. Like I think
Mhm.
putting them ahead of Ole Miss was the exact right call. Like I think that they have a more impressive resume. I think that they passed the eye test more. Like I just think Texas Tech's a better football team than Ole Miss right now.
Yes, they should be vying for a first round bye. If Alabama loses, maybe they eclipse Georgia if Georgia doesn't get to Atlanta. But like you're
I
Texas
mean, if
Tech,
Texas A&M loses to Texas, that sorts a lot of things out for Texas Tech.
yeah, you're basically at a spot right now where like you're going to be at worst a top eight seed. You're going
Mhm.
to make it as an at large no matter what,
Yeah,
and like you're going to have a home game in all likelihood. Maybe a bye if you catch some breaks here, but Texas Tech's they're like they're an SEC team playing in the Big 12, so good for them, and they're having a great year.
100%. Yeah, I mean I don't feel good about any other team in the Big 12 like really challenging them because that like
Yeah.
like I said on I believe it was Monday's show, like they're running downhill right now, and like it's going to be hard to stop them when a tortilla is running downhill.
And the reason I've got BYU here is like, look, you should be one of the first few teams past the cut line. If you win, you get an opportunity at redemption in Arlington. If you get that, you will have earned your way in there. It's the same thing with Vanderbilt. If you just beat Kentucky and Tennessee, you've earned your opportunity in. If you're USC, you beat Oregon, UCLA, you've earned your opportunity to be there. There may not be enough chairs there at the end, but like I don't think BYU is going to do it. But like
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with them being among the first few out.
No, 100%. And that's why my second is Vanderbilt, and it's a lot of the same reasons. Like, I think that, like, Vanderbilt does not have the resume of an Alabama, of an Oklahoma, of the teams that are currently in the playoff field. But they've survived an SEC schedule to this point, and if you keep surviving it, they're right in range to be in the conversation to make the playoff at 10-2. And like I think that's right where they should be. Like they are I don't think that they are one of the SEC elites, but I do think that they are a top third SEC team this year. And like I think that's right that's right in the conversation that they should be in.
They've played a challenging schedule. I think their best wins, what, over Mizzou, I think.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
And then, you've lost to who'd you lose? You lost to Alabama, and then you lost to
Who
who
was their
else?
other loss?
Um, Texas.
That's right, 100%.
But
Yeah.
that was very close. So
100%. Yeah, that was a close game.
yeah, and but you can't like they beat LSU before LSU fell apart. You can't really like I mean like you could say whatever it is, but like that's a quality win that they don't typically get. And they scheduled a Virginia Tech and they beat them. So like
Hmm.
you've done your part to make like a compelling argument here.
Yeah, 100%. And like, yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. Like they're in the perfect spot to have a compelling argument. And like I think that's right where they should be.
Also, Hunter Yurachek is just way better in front of the microphone than Mac Rhodes. Mac
It
Rhodes is
really
like
is.
Mac Rhodes is like my life is falling apart here.
I really can't talk about college football right now.
You've watched Entourage before, right?
Oh yeah.
You know how Gary Cole drives through his house to get Aaron Sorkin to sign with them.
Yes.
He's having one of those days here, man.
100%. He really is.
And on that note, let's move on to our third topic of today with we are doing a simulation.
Yes, sir.
We have the playoff field set after the third rankings, and we'll see who's going to win a national champion. So, your your top 10 ranked teams will be as follows: Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Georgia, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oregon, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and Alabama. Miami gets shoehorned up as the best ACC team, as the ACC championship that they're not going to play for. Well, they're at 11, and then the Tulane Green Wave are coming in at 12.
So dumb, man. I hate the Miami aspect of this. Like their odds, according to FPI, of making the ACC championship game are like 5.7%. Like it's not even like close. Like we're not even
No,
talking like anything near 50%.
no. So your first four out in this would be BYU, Utah, Vanderbilt, and USC,
Hmm.
which we think Utah shouldn't be there, but like BYU, Vanderbilt, USC, like that's where they are right now, and we're okay with that.
100%. Yeah. I mean they deserve to have the opportunity to play themselves in, and all of them do have chances to do so.
100%. So Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Georgia would get buys in this situation. Your 5-12 is Texas Tech versus Tulane. I don't think that that's particularly close. Guns up.
Guns up for sure. I have the Josh Pate FanDuel lines for these games as well.
Oh,
I
you do?
yeah, Texas Tech minus 21.5, which feels
Jeez.
about right.
That is gnarly.
It is very gnarly.
Your 6 versus 11. Ole Miss hosting Miami.
Mhm.
That's going to be a really, really dumb game, but we know Carson Beck knows how to throw picks on Pete Golding's defense, so I think Ole Miss prevails there.
I do too. I think it's a Miami self-inflicted wound game is really what it which I mean is ironic considering we're talking about a Lane Kiffin Ole Miss team and self-inflicted wounds. Like it could be a very weird game. For the record, Ole Miss favored by 3.5 in that one.
Okay. Very interesting game there. The 7-10 split. The Oregon Ducks hosting the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think Alabama gets them. I think Alabama has a little. I could be convinced if you think it's going to be Oregon. I think that ugly game. I think take the under.
I don't think Oregon's in this game, so I'm definitely taking Alabama. But interestingly enough, Oregon is favored according to the FanDuel lines by 4.5 points, which I did not see. I mean, a lot of that, I mean, part of that is Eugene, no doubt about it. But I don't see it. I don't think Oregon's offense would be able to hold up against Alabama's defensive front.
No. And then you're 8-9, Oklahoma hosting Notre Dame. That could go either way. I
You want
do
to talk
think
about an ugly game? This could be an ugly game.
I could go either way. Um, for whatever reason, I think Notre Dame just runs the ball a little bit more, and I think that that takes away the pass rush a little bit. And we know Material will turn the ball over. You're looking at a game where like Notre Dame potentially wins like 21 to 20, 21 to 20 or something.
Dude, I think even getting this game in the 20s might be a stretch. I was thinking like 17-13 or something like that. But I agree with you. I think Notre Dame's ability to run the ball and control the game and play mistake-free football, I think would be the deciding factor. And FanDuel agrees. Notre Dame 3.5 point favorite on the road, which was interesting.
Impressive. So uh, we got Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, and Alabama advancing to the quarterfinals.
Mhm.
So your first one, the Rose Bowl, which is what Ohio State's going to take as the Big Ten champion, they're hosting Notre Dame.
Mm. I'm gonna go OSU in that one, man. I
Yeah, rematch of last year's national championship game. I think that Ohio State does not play a perfect game here. I just think Notre Dame runs out of gas.
Yeah, I just don't think Notre Dame has enough ways to attack Ohio State, and Ohio State has plenty of ways that they can attack.
So your Orange Bowl, Indiana will take the Orange Bowl, and they'll play the Alabama Crimson Tide.
God. I'm gonna go Indiana in this one just because I still don't like. I think if you were a one-dimensional offense, which Alabama still currently is at this point, I think Signetti and that staff are gonna exploit that.
Yeah, Signetti is going up against one of his former employers. Again, he is the Saban disciple. People tend to forget that. I
Mhm.
would probably go Indiana advancing as well. Your 3-6, it could be the Cotton Bowl if Texas A&M wanted to choose that. They may be put in the Sugar Bowl. Again, I don't know how this works, but like they're playing Ole Miss.
I'm going Ole Miss. We said it earlier in the show, and I'm gonna stick by it. I think Ole Miss is a better football team.
And I think that's fair. We got to stay consistent on this program. And then the Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl, or whatever, Georgia hosts Texas Tech. Look, I don't think Texas Tech's going to score a lot of points on Georgia. I think
Yeah.
that maybe initially, I think Baron Morton has a really tough day.
No, I think this has like the makings of a game that's like 10-7 going into the fourth quarter, and then the dam breaks and Georgia wins like 24-7 or something like that. Like that's what I could see.
Yeah, this feels like the 2017 SEC championship where Georgia beat Auburn by like that score.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly like it just feels like the type of game where like Texas Tech's defense is going to keep them in it for as long as they can, but their offensive deficiencies are just going to be too much to overcome.
We don't have chalk. We have Ole Miss being an upset here. So
That's right.
moving on to the national semifinals. Ohio State's the number one seed. They may take the Peach Bowl, and they're going to play Georgia in their backyard. I don't like Ohio State's chances in that game. I think that that's going to be the big thing for me is I just feel that I think Georgia can run the football a lot better than Ohio State can.
No, 100%. And I mean, I think the clock might strike midnight again at the Peach Bowl.
Oh man, I tell you what, that sounds about right. You're looking at like a final score of that being something like 30 to 21.
Yeah, I honestly I might even go a little higher. I would say like something like 38-30 wouldn't surprise me. Like I could see that one be getting pretty loose.
All right, the Fiesta Bowl. This is where it's going to get loose. Indiana versus Ole Miss.
Oh, that's gonna get hella loose. We're talking 40s, baby. Let's get in the 40s there. I'm going Indiana though.
Me too.
I trust Signetti. I trust Fernando Mendoza a lot more than I do Trinidad Chambliss and Lane Kiffin in that game.
It'll also get to a point where it's beyond untenable, where Kiffin's like the LSU job is still open. Like nobody's been hired by this point.
Yeah, like he's wearing purple and gold on the Ole Miss sideline.
He gets arrested on Bourbon Street the night before. I'm like, dude, you're in Phoenix. Doesn't matter.
That's right.
The Zony equivalent of Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
He's in Scottsdale.
Oh
Just
yeah, he's 100% in Scottsdale.
so our national championship at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. The number two Indiana Hoosiers versus number four Georgia Bulldogs. I'll let you pick because I don't. I mean, I remove the bias from this equation.
It's a tough one. I think this would be a incredibly good game, and I think it would be one of the better national championship games that we've seen in recent memory. I think I would give the slight edge to Georgia just simply on the fact that Kirby Smart has been there before. And like I don't think like I think Indiana's showing up. I don't think Kurt Cignetti's turtling up or anything like that. Like I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think that Georgia's going to roll them by anything. I would imagine this would end up being a one possession game, but I think that I one of the things that I keep thinking about when I think about this Georgia team is the onside kick against Texas. And like those little things, those little decisions that Kirby Smart has the balls to make, but also has the smarts to make at the exact right time, I think are going to make the difference in this game. And so I would take Georgia by a slim margin.
Fernando Mendoza losing in his hometown of Miami.
Yeah.
Um, and honestly, he'll probably win the Heisman over Stockton, like 1-2. If I had to venture to guess right this instant and project. Look, the onside kick, like every time a team wins a national championship, or gets very close to it, there are plays where it presents itself. Like this team is special. Like Auburn had two in 13 with Prayer Jordan Hare and kick six. Like
Yeah.
these things just they don't happen to like if you're not championship caliber, this doesn't happen to you.
No, 100%. And I saw this pointed out by I think it was Tom Fernelli, if I'm not mistaken. But Texas fans will maintain that they were close in the Georgia game, and for a while they certainly like had like chances there, but Fernelli painted it in a way in like to the point of like the decision of the onside kick and how like impactful it was. His point was the score every time Texas had a possession in that game, and yes, they made it 14 to 10. They didn't get the ball back until it was 28 to 10, which the game was out of reach at that point. And like that's a championship caliber coaching decision because you basically put the game out of reach without Texas ever touching the football.
Hell yeah. Any other thoughts before we move on to the second half of the show here?
I mean, not that it would matter because I still think Texas Tech would beat them, but JMU should be in Tulane spot. I'm just going to keep saying that.
Hell yeah. And I don't know what PFT's thoughts are about Star Wars. I'm sure he's got great ones, but let's do the Admiral Akbar. It's trap games of the week.
Yes, sir.
Games where the lines look a little fishy for us and we think that there's money to potentially be had. Again, don't gamble on what we say. Just live your best life. Just enjoy this for entertainment. If you
Yeah,
have
we're vibing. We're definitely not giving gambling advice here.
if you have problems, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, number three for me. Minnesota at Northwestern. Northwestern laying 4.5. Northwestern's been knocking on the door, trying to get to a bowl eligibility all season long. I am gonna take them there, but Minnesota is just you know, conquers bad fur day. They're smiling with a wooden hammer behind you.
No, I like that. I don't have this game anywhere. I'm gonna go Northwestern. I think that they get this one done.
All right, what you got? What you got at three?
I've got Missouri at Oklahoma, and it was just a game that I couldn't stop thinking about because like we're riding off Missouri entirely. Bo Prabula might not be playing. They might be on their third string quarterback, but that defense is still really good. And Oklahoma, we have talked about, is not like firing on all cylinders offensively right now. I think this game could get really ugly. I think this game could be like 17-14 type game where Oklahoma is really sweating this thing. I'm gonna take Oklahoma to win, but I think that there's some tight buttholes in Norman, Oklahoma come Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to take Oklahoma to win, but like Missouri makes it interesting. Matt Zollers can play. This is a guy that was recruited very heavily by both Georgia, Missouri, and Penn State. And
Yeah.
if Eli goes to Penn State, he'll probably follow him.
Yeah, like I going back to like kind of game script things, like if this game entered the fourth quarter at like 9-6 where neither team scored a touchdown and we have like five field goals or the only scores, like that would not shock me. Like I think that's very much in play.
The last game I saw at Sanford Stadium was the Grayson Lambert field goal fest in 2015. That was the same day as the original Surrender Cobra of Michigan State.
Hell yes.
Watching that tailgate in a parking lot. My friend, we call him Whiskey. He's like, "Oh my God, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen." All right. My second one is Kansas at Iowa State. Iowa State laying 4.5. Give me KU.
Yeah, I like KU in that one as well. I just can't trust Iowa State right now. I just can't.
No, this is Kansas gets this win. They become bowl eligible. I think that they do it.
100%. My second one is BYU at Cincinnati, which I probably could have saved for JLN. I didn't, and put it here. BYU has everything in front of them, but they are a different team away from Provo. And Cincinnati, I don't think is a world beater, and I think they might be regressing to the mean slightly, but this is still a game that BYU could absolutely lose, and I think they do. I think this is where BYU's college football playoff chances end. I think Cincinnati does it.
I have this in jail, and I'll make my pick then.
Okay, nice.
Number one for me, it's the big game. Cal at Stanford.
Oh,
Cal laying
hell
two and
yeah.
a half. I think Cal's gonna win, but this is a rivalry game and it's dumb. So like, and then you got a true freshman at quarterback in JKS. Stanford's got nothing to lose. That game's gonna get weird, but give me Cal though.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Cal. I just don't like. I think Stanford probably makes a game of it, but like I think Cal's just a better, like too much of a better football team for it to matter.
All right, what's your number one with the bullet?
Michigan at Maryland. Maryland is trying to stave off being eliminated from bowl eligibility at 4-6. Obviously, Mike Locksley just got the vote of confidence, and I've said it a billion times in this program. Michigan does not have a high ceiling, and a team that doesn't have a high ceiling going against Maryland in Maryland, when you're talking about a program or a team that is one of the most high variance in the country, especially among the Power Four teams. I think things could get really hairy here from Michigan. I'm taking Maryland. I think Maryland, like that's kind of one of the big shocks we get this week is Maryland knocking off Michigan.
I don't think I have that anywhere, but I'm kind of right there with you. I'm gonna say this. I think Malik Washington's better than Bryce Underwood. I think there's a certain like there it's not by much, but there seems to be like I've seen them both play enough. Malik Washington's got a little bit more awareness about him.
I think he's further along for sure.
Yeah, I think that's probably I think he's just being coached better by Loxley.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's got a better offensive developmental mind coaching him.
Michigan should have lost Northwestern. They turned the ball over 5 times.
Yeah, 100%. Like Michigan fans will argue, "Oh, we should have won by 30." I'm like, maybe you should have lost, like because you did turn the ball over 5 times.
And you know what, man? We did lose. When we went to East Lansing for Antonio Banderas Bowl of the Week, and we're going to be going to a little bit place that's a little bit warmer, Columbia, South Carolina for Coastal Carolina, South Carolina. God. So Magic Johnson. That's all I have. That's all I have to say. You saw something that is very hard to describe, but it did happen and it was weird. And it contributed to Antonio having a good time and Michigan State losing to Penn State.
Yeah, so I don't want to go into too many details and say something that will is a little off color, but do you remember the episode of the league where Ted comes to the draft and Kevin maybe or maybe not takes a little cocktail?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Antonio did with Magic Johnson. And he was feeling himself. He had an adverse reaction to what Kevin had on the league and he thought he was on the Michigan State sideline because that's who he was rooting for, but it was actually the Penn State sideline, and he got those boys fired up and ready to rock.
I mean, everybody's like propping up Terry Smith. Terry Smith's Antonio's that's what he checks into hotels under.
100%, yeah, that's the pseudonym.
Because he can spell Terry Smith. It's not that hard.
100%. It's just as easy as Bulldog.
The problem is the R's hooked the other way.
That's right.
And I'm like, you have an R in your name, and he's just like Bulldog.
Bulldog.
Jonathan Smith, Antonio calls him Neville Longbottom.
Yeah.
He doesn't think the guy knows how to do anything, but he's got a real knack for herbology. And Antonio's like, it's cold outside. It's stupid. What's the point of this?
It takes a great deal more courage to stand up to your friends.
Antonio learned a new spell. It was Expelliarmus.
Yeah. And I think it might have worked because Aiden Childs was not throwing the ball to the Michigan State wide receivers at all.
Nah, I mean the problem is he was sitting on the sidelines. He had like a turban on, like Professor Quirrell. And I'm like, who's in the back of your head? And he's like, Coach Drake.
That's right.
He was also scouting Penn State because he thinks he's gonna be on Eli Drinkwitz's next staff. He did that was the whole reason he wanted to go there. Besides Magic Johnson, again, this guy's just got so many ulterior motives. We can't trust him at all.
No, God, no. He's always got a plan that is not quite revealed to us, and yeah, he said he's already got housing lined up. I'm pretty sure it's just a tent outside Beaver Stadium, but hey, to each their own.
He was looking for Trent Bray too.
Yeah, he can't. He's unsure what happened to the Beaver man.
He's really confused right now, and he's going to be even more confused when he sees these chickens pissing too.
100%. Yeah, he's not ready for Columbia, South Carolina, I don't think.
The other thing is Antonio calls this game Pollo Pollo. Pollo Pollo Loco.
Pollo, Pollo. I was just about to say Pollo, look.
Um, I think like what Coastal Carolina's like biggest alum besides the golfer Dustin Johnson who likes to fight people.
Yeah.
I think the guy who created like Hooters is from there because like I think they created it like the sauces for the wings, if I'm not mistaken.
There's some MLB pitcher that went to Coastal Carolina too.
Yeah.
God, who is it? Hold on.
I
Baseball alum. Coastal Carolina. Let's sort by. Oh, I can't sort by war. That doesn't help me.
no. Um,
Um, Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, you
it's
know what I'm
fine.
thinking? I'm thinking the Florida Gulf Coast. That's where Chris Sale went. That's my fault.
Yeah, yeah, he did. Mike Trout was good at East Carolina. I remember that.
Yeah, which is wild.
The Jersey guys just love going down to the shore, I
That's
guess.
right.
I always think back to like when we go back to our days at Homer Hickam and his mom is like, I just want to retire to Myrtle Beach. I'm like, what's up?
That's the coal miners mentality for sure.
100%. So Antonio knows Darius Rucker very
Yeah.
well.
Hmm.
And he also has a bit of a hate-love relationship with Shane Beamer, which is why we're going to go there because he may not be there much longer.
No, 100%. And like we've tried to warn Antonio to kind of he loves Shane Beamer, but like we've warned him like you might want to like stand back because Beamer's a little bit of a loose cannon right now, so I'm not really sure that's what you want to deal with.
This is a little morbid. Antonio thinks Shane Beamer, we told him like he's on the hot seat. He's probably not going to be here much longer. Antonio took that as like he has like a disease.
Hmm.
So he goes up to Shane Beamer at dinner last night and he's like, "You're sick." And he pulls up an operation board.
Where do you need me to operate?
It's like that's not what needs to happen here. Also, he's very concerned about Lenore Sellers. I think he wants to take him hostage and take him to another program.
Yeah, he told me that he's gonna try to steal Lenore's Distillers rec specs. And I was like, why are you trying to do that? And he goes, to save him from himself. And I was like, that's pretty deep, Antonio. And he just looked at me and said Bulldog. So I don't know if he really thinks it's that deep, but that's the plan that he has told us. God knows what plan he hasn't told us.
We tried to explain to him what a chicken was, a Chanticleer was. He's like blue chicken, and I'm like, you know what? That's fine. And
That's pretty close, honestly. We'll take it.
the other thing is, he's like I said, he grew up in the '90s. He was he knows Darius Rucker very well. Darius Rucker will be there playing songs about whatever he did there. But he's wondering why the Dolphins are sad.
Yeah, he doesn't know why the Dolphins are sad or why they make anyone sad because Antonio wants to ride some dolphins, and I tried to tell him that there's not dolphins in South Carolina or in Columbia, South Carolina. But he's gonna try to find it. So we may end up at the Georgia Aquarium for all I know.
Yeah, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand how a map works.
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Um, Honestly, it's what, give me Coastal to win this game. Why not?
I'm gonna go South Carolina. I feel like this is a Shane Beamer BS catharsis game where he just like runs it up on Coastal.
Yeah, that feels very front runner for him.
Yeah, 100%. Like it just feels on brand.
He's in his car, he's looking at his cracked rear view. Let's move on to some Jalen with some who named the Blowfish? Columbia, South Carolina's own.
Oh, that was good, man. That was good.
Okay, who do you got for a hold? What game do you have for hold my hand?
I've got Miami at Virginia Tech. Um, I think that Mario Cristobal is going to need someone to hold his hand because I think Virginia Tech. I, I've been pretty good at like seeing Miami upsets coming. After a week of Miami fans pissing and moaning about their team needing to be up ahead of Notre Dame in the college football playoff rankings, I think they lose to Virginia Tech and just eliminate that from the conversation.
If I recall correctly, like a year ago, like Miami got the flukiest ass win over Virginia Tech on like a Thursday or Friday night.
100%. And like Virginia Tech vibes are improving. You got James Franklin hired. I think this roster comes out to play. And I was looking. I also wanted to check this. It's supposed to be a rainy, relatively like high 50s day in Blacksburg. Carson Beck interception fest incoming.
I mean, I don't know if they're gonna. I'm gonna take Miami to win, but if you feel confident about that upset being there, I'm okay with that.
I just think it's a weird one. I think it's a weird one that we got coming.
And I got a weird one coming here. This is going to be in the SEC. I've got Kentucky at Vanderbilt for holding my hand because
Hell
I
yes.
want I want to run with you, Clark Lee and Diego Pavia.
I have this game coming up later.
There's a non-zero chance Diego Pavia was conceived to this album,
Oh, 100%. There's no question.
and getting Vanderbilt to win by a lot.
Like I said, I got this one coming in a couple songs, so we'll get there.
What game is going to let her cry?
I just grouped these all together. I've got the SEC cupcake schedule here. I've got Charlotte, Georgia, Eastern Illinois, and Alabama, and Sanford at A&M. When the tears fall down like rain, like all these teams are going to win by a billion. Like it's not even going to be close.
Yeah, give
SEC
me.
cupcake week always kills me.
I mean, Georgia deserved a cupcake.
Oh, 100%.
Playing like
Texas A&M does not.
no, Georgia's just played one team after another since like week three. Like need a break.
100%.
Yeah. Logic prevails. SEC teams to win all those games.
By a lot. By a lot.
Let her cry. I've got USC at Oregon,
Mm.
and Dan Lanning's wife will be crying after USC upsets Oregon. He becomes the next head coach at LSU, and she's going to get a stupid tiger tattoo on her face.
So I'll tell you this. I originally had USC Oregon for this game, and then I knew you were going to make that exact joke, so I switched.
Yeah, yeah. Oregon's playoff chances end on Saturday.
100%. I have this game coming, obviously, later.
What game do you only want to be with? Only want to be with you.
So much like you only want to hold Clark Lee and Diego Pavia's hand, I only want to be with them. That's where I have Kentucky Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's winning by a lot, man. And Kentucky's ass.
Yeah, they're going to win like 35 to 10.
Yeah, Kentucky is hellacious ass.
Only when I want to be with you. I've got a very enticing game there in the ACC. That's Pittsburgh versus Georgia Tech, and
Mm.
Brent Key's name is being thrown out to a lot of different places. But again, he definitely listened to this while he was pumping iron for Georgia Lou's football team back in the '90s, blocking for Joe Hamilton or George Godsey or God knows what. Brent Key only wants to be with Georgia Tech. He gets a major extension here from the new AD. Georgia Tech wins, and they basically punch their ticket to get to Charlotte, and if they win that game, they'll win the ACC. Not going to beat Georgia probably, but yeah, give me them to beat Pitt here.
I actually I couldn't find a spot I really liked for this game, so I don't have it. But I actually think Pitt wins this one.
Let's go. I'm
Uh,
good with that too.
yeah, like I think that I think like I understand that Georgia Tech knows that this game is super important for their college football playoff chances, but at the same time, the Georgia game still matters, and you probably feel like you have a chance to at least scare Georgia if you are Georgia Tech. I don't necessarily believe that, but if you're at Georgia Tech, you probably believe that. And I think it could be a little bit of a look ahead spot. And then more importantly, like Pat Narduzzi told us they didn't care about the Notre Dame game. They've been prepping for this game for 2 or 3 weeks.
Which is probably why they'll lose
I mean,
again.
that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
All right. Time. Why do you punish me? Which game you got for that?
I've got Tennessee, Florida, and both of these programs getting punished by time right now. But I think like the lesson of this song is, maybe don't, be impatient with time. And like that's my message to Tennessee because I think I'm gonna pick Florida to win this game. I think Florida's actually playing like a pretty inspired brand of football right now. And like we saw that last week against Ole Miss, like they came out swinging hard and I don't trust Joey Jaguar against a really good defense, which Florida still has, and especially on the road in the swamp. But like again, my lesson to Tennessee is you're gonna be fine. Like just give it time. Everything is gonna be okay.
And I can hear the ruffling in the Letterman's jacket because Josh Heupel's pulling out not just a 5-star review, but he's pulling out a cracked review on cassette tape.
100%.
I've got Rutgers at Ohio State because Greg Schiano is like, time. Why do you punish me? Why are you scheduling this game? It's just wasting everybody's time. Rutgers is trying to get to a bowl game that's not going to happen. Maybe they did they punch in. I don't know if they're close. Like they're 5-5, I think
I think they're
now.
5-5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think then they got to play like Michigan State or like Maryland or Penn State at the end of the year. I think that's one of those
Hmm.
games. I think it's Penn State if I'm not mistaken. But it's like, why are you gonna like have us to play Ohio State? Like, can we just mess around here? I don't know. Ohio State like 44-7.
Yeah, Ohio State by a lot. The like I will say like by one principle, like it would be hilarious if Rutgers made a game of this. Like just absolutely hysterical.
They won't, and
They won't, but
I don't know. It feels like Big Noon would be there.
yeah, 100%.
Drowning. What game do you have for that?
That's where I have USC Oregon because Oregon's drowning after this one, brother. I think USC's the like I'm gonna get a little stat nerdy on you, but I went and looked at Oregon's schedule because we've talked a lot about Oregon's schedule being soft and their wins not being that impressive. Indiana is the only team inside the top 20 offenses in terms of success rate that Oregon has played. And this Oregon defense is being propped up like it's a world beater. They're a world beater because they haven't played anybody, man. And USC, Indiana, granted, is the number one ranked offense in terms of success rate in the country. USC is number four. Like, this is a damn good USC offense. They're versatile. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. They have weapons on the outside that I don't think Oregon can cover in Jacory Lane and or sorry, Jacoby Lane and Makai Lemon. Like I just don't think that Oregon has the defense to match up with them. I think it's the shootout because I don't think USC's defense is that good, and I think Oregon will be able to score in this game. But I think USC wins this game. Like I just think USC is the better team.
I think Jaden Mayava has NFL future, and I think along with Gunnar Stockton's probably the most like has done the most to like improve their stock in the future, whenever
Hmm.
that is. Like they're just the most improved quarterback from like year over year. He's been sensational for USC.
100%. Yeah. And he seems like I don't know, like you don't hear like a whole hell of a lot about Jaden Maeva like looking for his flowers or anything like he's just like going out there getting it done and then going to work.
Is he's basically if what Dylan Raiola didn't have a famous dad,
Right. Or a Patrick Mahomes obsession.
and his brother Dayton's like, I'm not going to Nebraska. What the hell I
Yeah.
do? So like, I've already picked that game. Drowning for me is your game. That's Duke at North Carolina. It feels like both programs are drowning right now, and because I want you to be happy, I'm taking the Tar Heels.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna take Duke because I'm not gonna be happy. I don't have this game anywhere. I'm refusing to admit that this game is happening.
All right, what game is running from an angel?
I have Wazoo James Madison because I'm not gonna stop talking about James Madison, man. Running from an angel, running to the devil. James Madison needs to sell its soul to the devil or something because they are the best group of five team in the country right now, in my opinion. And I think that they need to run up the score on Wazoo, and I think they're fully capable of doing so. James
Yeah,
Madison by a lot.
late great president James Madison, the fourth one of all time, the guy who wrote the Declaration of Independence or whatever Constitution. He did one of those things, apparently. I think
He's a writer. He's our kind.
he's a writer. I think he sold his soul to the devil because that guy was just a little bitch. She's like 5'3".
100%.
Just like I bet you like Abraham Lincoln, if he was still alive, would just put stuff like high up so he couldn't reach it.
High five.
Yeah, I'll take James Madison by a lot there. Jimmy Rogers is trying to figure this thing out there in Wazoo. He's doing a good job, but like it's challenging out there in the Blues.
100%.
Running from an Angel, that's where I've got BYU at Cincinnati, and it feels like both of these teams are trying to run away from Texas Tech. I think just for the sake of argument, I'm going to take BYU to win this. I could be wrong. Who cares?
It feels like a huge coin flip game. I think that's the biggest point about this game. Like I don't have a strong inclination either way, but Cincinnati is at home, and yeah, I think this game's gonna be weird. That's my prediction. This game's gonna be weird.
And I think this game is going to be weird, just like Ted the Teddy Bear singing "Don't Only Want to Be with You." And this was episode 228 of False Starts.
AIOU.
Just the Dan Marino obsession for people that Gen X, like I'll never understand. Like he can throw the ball really hard, not a good person, not a winner, not smart at all.
But he did leave his car on the highway one time, so we love him for that.
Pre-internet Dan Marino is a legend. Just
Dude, that like I really wish that like somehow we could just imagine pre-internet. like times in the world of like social media. Like imagine Twitter, imagine TikToks if like it got reported that Dan Marino left his car on the freeway to get to the stadium.
Different thing. I don't know if you still haven't seen it yet, but like there's a part in the dirt where they show like what it looks like inside of Tommy Lee's eyes for his, and obviously Colson Baker, Machine Gun Kelly plays him.
Oh my God.
So his head's just like bobbing around. It's like Marcus Mariota in the Thursday night game versus the Steelers. The Titans' head just moving all over the place.
Oh
It's
my God.
just wild. He's like, he goes to a club after flying somewhere, gets sick on a person that works there. They don't like it very much. Gets chained to his bed. He wakes up at 6 p.m. because they can't trust him.
Oh God, that's good stuff.
It's like Antonio every time we
A
do
hundred
this.
percent. That's basically Antonio.
Dude, you and I have convinced him to wear geotags. We've chipped him like a dog.
We have indeed. The moment he learns how to like shed them, though, we're in trouble.
He thinks that like what we told him is we put him on his thong. We said that those are chick magnets.
He's gonna take the chick magnets to Broadway next time we go to Nashville.
Oh, Broadway's dark tonight because this is False Start.